Well, hey ladies, happy Monday morning. I hope that you're having a great start to your Monday this morning. But I wanted to go ahead and we're going to jump into Ecclesiastes. That's where I've actually been reading. So in this series of What Are You Reading? And I just started it the other day, and there was kind of a little bit of it tied into sort of those moments where I guess you kind of have a devotional of sorts, or just a moment of contemplating and thinking about God's goodness while on vacation. And I'm still on vacay mode, so on vacation mode. So, but I want you to jump with me to Ecclesiastes, and I'm going to be looking in chapter 1. And I'm just going to read 11 verses, but really focusing on verse number 2. But so I'm going to go ahead and read this. And it says, now I'm using the NIV version. That's the Bible that I carry with me all the time. I have ESV at home, but NIV is what I've got with me today. So it says, the words of the teacher, a son of David, king in Jerusalem. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. What do people gain from all their labors at which they toil under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and turns to the north, round and round it goes, ever returning on its course. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. To the place the streams come from, there they return again. All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear is its fill of hearing. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which one can say, look, this is something new? It was here already long ago. It was here before our time. No one remembers the former generations, and even those yet to come will not be remembered by those who follow them. So that's an uplifting message this morning, isn't it? So I was reading, and the word there used is hevel, where at the beginning where it says meaningless, meaningless. And if you use the ESV version, which is the one I was studying at home, it's vanity, vanity, all is vanity. And so we have this feeling of vanity and this endless pursuit of things that just turn to nothing. And actually the word that's used there, that hevel, I'm probably saying it wrong, but hevel means vapor or smoke. And it takes me back to, maybe you've read The Sound of Music, or not read, seen The Sound of Music, and they say, like, you can never pin a cloud down, and they're talking about Maria. How do you catch a cloud? How do you grab onto vapor? It's just going to disappear. And so that is something that came to mind when I was doing this, and reading this. And part of that is because we're in the middle of this Armor of God Bible study. And in the middle of doing this Armor of God Bible study, we were talking about faith and how faith is something in action, right? But it has to be based on truth. It has to be based on something that is, that is fine, that is firm. It has to be something firm. It can't just be, you can't just have faith in vapor. It has to be something firm and true. And I shared with the ladies last week, so on vacation, we went and saw the Blue Angels fly. And so that's these elite pilots who fly F-18s for the Navy. And we got to see their show. And I'm telling you, it was incredible. But my vantage point was from the runway. We were down, well, not on the runway, but, we were watching near the runway. But we got this really neat gift for my dad for his birthday, and he got to be up on this lighthouse. So his vantage point was totally different than mine. And the neat part was there was a volunteer up on the lighthouse that was telling them that they fly 18 inches apart. So they've worked their way down to flying 18 inches apart. And my vantage point, we got to see them fly, got to see how close they were actually flying together. 18 inches. I don't know if that actually is, but it's close to, it's probably about that? I don't know. And so it was not far apart. You could see how close they were together. But so I got to look from underneath. My dad and my brother, who got to do this experience, they got to see them flying straight at them and 18 inches apart, and just how close that really was. And so sometimes it's our viewpoint of faith that can change things, correct? So maybe it's our viewpoint with our life circumstances, how those are. The other times, the volunteer that was up there also told my dad that the joystick that the Blue Angels hold, it holds 40 pounds of pressure. And the reason that they do that is because they don't want them to, flinch and to respond, and they're going to hit one of the other planes, correct? So they have to hold this 40 pounds of pressure for 45 minutes. So just think the amount of weight that holds. But it prevents them from making mistakes and responding to something. And so I was saying this week, it reminds me of God's word. And when we know his word, we can stand firm in faith, stand firm where we are in truth, in God's truth, trusting God because he is our truth, right? Our belt of truth. He is the truth. This word is the truth. And when we stand firm in it, our emotions are not wayward. We get to hold on to, maybe it's 40 pounds of pressure, and it's not easy sometimes, but we don't flinch one way or the other, correct? And so looking at this passage in Ecclesiastes, and we're saying that everything is vanity, that everything is meaningless. All of life without God is meaningless. It is just plain and simple. And that's not an easy thing to, it's not an easy thing to actually come to realization of, right? That everything without God's purpose in it is actually meaningless. It's here one day, gone tomorrow. I mean, ashes to ash, dust to dust, correct? But where I want us to then turn, and just for some encouragement, since that was kind of a passage that's like, Philippians 4. Says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Those things have purpose and they have meaning because they are tied in with the goodness of God and they are good things. So think about those things. So while everything in life, maybe today you're in a place where everything does feel meaningless. It's what is the point? I think that, or at least I struggle with this as a woman. We want something to have a purpose, and we want something to have meaning and a place, and we want to, and a lot of times create and to develop things, right? To create and develop something that's meaningful. But it's not meaningful if it's outside of God, right? Where we need to be internally, and we can then externally, but internally we need to be at a place where we are resting in God's truth, and we are resting, holding on to, it may not be resting sometimes, you may have to hold on to that pressure, the pressure of his truth, and hold on to it, and hold on to those things that, what does it say here? Hold on to whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable. If anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Hold on to those things because they have purpose and value. So everything is not meaningless when we're holding on to God's truth. Out in the world, yes, we agree with Ecclesiastes, everything is meaningless, but God is not meaningless, and these things that are true and praiseworthy, excellent, admirable, those good things that are gifts from God, those are the good things. So hold on to them this week. So I hope that gives you a little bit of encouragement. Thanks for staying on that long ride. Hopefully it wasn't too convoluted, and just cling to whatever is good this week. Hold on to that. All right, thank you, and I hope that you have a great rest of your Monday.